that's my today's progress from that, and I'm going to review Twisters in the Courier, and James is going to be reviewing Rock and Roll, and his meal today is just leftovers, and I'd made some pasta this morning, so that's that, and we'll see how things go. So, you may have noticed in my picture that I was eating pasta. So, I don't know where I would put the painter. Maybe there? I actually enjoyed watching Twisters. So, I don't know. But you'll notice there's spots in there, over here. That's pasta sauce. So, when the instructor, what was it, David Brody? Yeah. Was talking about don't eat or drink while you're painting. That's a good habit to get into. One that I never got into. So things like this happen. Pasta sauce on the picture, but honestly,
I wonder if they did some analysis on some of the great canvases by Leonardo da Vinci and stuff like that, whether they'd actually find out
where there's bits of food. Yeah. But I think he mentioned it in the health and safety episode, because so often you have your water that you're cleaning like if you're working with acrylics, your water you're rinsing your brushes into, and then you have another, so you have a jar, and then you have your glass of water or whatever, and you can get them mixed up very easily. And as I mentioned before, a lot of those acrylic paints, I mean, you may be thinking, oh, I don't want to paint with oils, so I'll go for acrylics, because you may be thinking, oh, it's safer. But there are a lot of carcinogenic acrylic paints out there. So, I don't know. And honestly, so I was thinking about it. I was mentioning in the last talk about the complete painter that, gee, I guess I'm going to have to go get some oil paints, because that's really what he's instructing here. It's the complete oil painter. It's really not complete painter in general. Although he does cover some things, like he talks about the vehicle, he calls it, for different painting types, right? So if you have watercolor, it's a different vehicle, a different base for the pigment than the other, than acrylic or oil. I mean, of course, you know that's going to be different, right? They're different. They work different. But anyway, he doesn't, so far, like, it just basically seems like an oil thing. And I might be able to do some acrylic stuff, but honestly, I got out of doing that, because what I used to do is I would draw on a bunch of canvases, and one thing he mentioned, there was a good idea. He said, when you're drawing on your canvases, you can spray your drawing with fixative, and then it won't bleed through your paints. And I thought, boy, I wish I'd done that, I would have been worried about, well, will the paint stick to the fixative, but he says that's what to do, so apparently it'll work. And
it doesn't hurt to give it a try.
Yeah, because I would use many layers of paint to try to make sure that things were covered up properly, right? And
it sounds as though it's worth a try.
Yeah, because paint's expensive. And, well, it's expensive in terms of time. Like, it'd take me a month to paint a canvas. And maybe it didn't have to. So, another thing he'd mentioned, I'd been talking about the transferring your images with tracing paper for watercolor. And I forgot to mention what he mentioned. How to do it for oil is you just, you paint on just a piece of paper. You like you can, I guess you could use a light box or something, or hold it up through a window or whatever, so you could see through, right? Your sketch of what you want to do, and then just put some paint on that piece of paper, and then put it on your canvas, and then use a, well, I would use a Q-tip probably, because I use a Q-tip to transfer for watercolors, right? But you just draw over where the paint is onto the canvas, and that transfers your sketch, I guess, whatever. So that's a great idea. I hadn't thought of that. Because, I mean, you could do it with acrylic too, I suppose, but I suppose you'd have to work faster, because it dries so fast. But worth a try.
It's a lot of helpful hints and timely tips, eh?
Yeah. So, because, yeah, the thing with art, it's very frustrating. It takes a lot of time. But
well, everything
anyway,
is that way. Remember when you were starting out writing poetry?
Oh, it was
frustrating.
But yeah,
you know,
I guess there's a learning curve.
Hopefully, it seems worth it to you.
Yeah.
You know.
And well, I did this. It didn't take me very long. I just there's a book that comes with this, and so he has all of his things you can trace out and transfer them and play around with them, whatever. And so this is backwards. So I drew it, and I just to practice what colors I'd use, because I decided I'm not going to go buy oils. When I used to paint with acrylics, what I do is I draw out and when I painted with oils, I only did it outside. And even though I was young, I was smart enough to know this stuff stinks and I shouldn't be breathing it in. So, but anyway, with acrylic, what I'd do is I'd trace out and draw out the stuff onto my canvas in the winter time, and then in the summer months I'd be painting, because then at least, even if I painted inside, I have a window I can open.
Well, lots of windows. Yep.
Yeah, lots of windows, so it doesn't really matter that much. But with, like, lately, me doing the art, I'm not doing it in the summer months. In the summer, I'm hiking. I'm out there, and I'm not going to spend my time doing painting at all. So I'm just doing this in the winter. And I did this last year, and it went really well. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try this out and see if I enjoy my winter more with painting as a winter activity, which is not a very good winter activity. I should be cross-country skiing or something. But whatever. This is what it is right now. I don't like going. I don't like going for walks in the city. I don't like going out in the city. I don't like living in the city. And really, this is as much as me going out in the city as I want, is going out onto my deck.
It's amazing how much they charge for living in the city for a kind of a low-class experience.
Well, the only reason people should be in the city is for work. And now,
that's the thing.
I don't even know if that's necessary.
Well, they do too much, like with high-tech stuff. They found out that they tried that, and people were copulating with a canine when they were at home. But, like people like that should be disciplined, but they should be encouraging it more and more, because commuting costs so much in terms of time, energy, and wear and tear on people's.
Just put people on 24-hour video surveillance at home or something if they're wanting to work at home. Get somebody to sign, I realize my privacy in this office space is not my own now.
Well, like they maybe should have a subsidy or something like that for going through that sort of stuff. Not 24 hours.
No, but during the workday.
But they should be paid a subsidy for that kind of intrusion.
Sure.
So, because they're saving society.
Well,
so
I don't know if it's subsidy,
energy,
but
pollution.
I mean, they're already getting the subsidy if they don't need to have a vehicle to go to work anymore. So that's a bonus for
Should be.
them. It should be. So then they don't have to live in the city anymore either. They can live wherever their work
That's a
leaves.
bonus.
Yeah,
Accent on both syllables.
it should be that way. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I got off on
Well, you were
tangent.
talking about not walking in the city.
Oh yeah, I don't like walking in the city. So I think that's really it. If I had my own property out in the country, then I would be cross country skiing in the winter. But because I really liked cross country skiing, and I tried it in the city a few times.
Be
I
tough
tried it
down here
in
in
Calgary,
Lethbridge.
and it was very tough. And then I tried it here in Lethbridge, and it was even tough at your house. I tried going to
Gyro Park.
the park to
See
do
people
it.
doing it occasionally,
I tried
but we just
going
don't
to
get
the
enough snow built
to
up
the
around.
schoolyard here, and then I thought this is a bad idea, because kids actually still go to school in the winter, so then I would only have to be able to do it really in the evening or
I guess. I don't know.
weekends.
Would they have
So-
a problem with a woman? They'd
don't
be
think
creeped out if
so.
guys were hanging around there. But
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it just seemed like a bad idea. And plus, then I have to pack my skis. But anyway, whatever. So, painting is now my winter activity, which,
some places, much of the year, you wouldn't have to pack your skis. You just ski across the roads.
yeah,
I don't know what it's like in Grand Prairie.
yeah, you
Because
probably
I
could there.
can't
But
remember.
well, they
You
might
couldn't
gravel them
actually
though. That might be a problem.
Yeah, that might
Yeah.
be a problem.
But if you got there before the gravel trucks did, you'd be okay. But anyway, so what I did with this is I just used marker, and then I put some oil pastel on top, and I thought, that's okay. Because I figured I can just still go through this, and I can take notes and whatever, learn. But I'll just do it with some other things that I already have at home, some other art supplies, and see how it works out. I'll get
Did you
something.
say that was taken from something from 2,000 years ago or something?
It was a long time ago. I'm kind of not. Do you want me to get the name of the guy? Well, you're talking
Was
about
it
rock
from
and roll.
Egypt or something?
Yep.
I think I recognize it. The original.
Yeah.
You don't
yeah.
have to go check it out.
Okay. I can't remember, but I'll. This was just a practice thing, and so I'm not really heartbroken about the pasta sauce. Whatever, who cares? And plus, I'm just using cheap things too. This is just marker, like I said, Crayola, I believe, and some kids oil pastels too. So just some cheap stuff and cheap paper and whatever. So it's just some practice, but I think like I'm gonna work on a picture that will involve this, just in a little. You'll see. I think I'll go with this same basic colors that I worked with there. I like what I did there, pretty good. So, but it might be more difficult because the markers aren't that fine. We'll see how it works out. I mean, it's worth a try. And whatever. So, Twister. At first, when I got this out of the library, I'm like, oh, do I want to watch another tornado show? And then I put this on, and I saw the Dorothy thing, and I'm like, oh no, this has something to do with that movie with Helen Hunt and whatever that I rewatched recently and still hated it. And
I never liked her that much. I liked that show she was in with.
yeah, Mad About You. My parents liked watching that, and my dad really liked the guy, Paul Reisler.
Paul
whatever his name
Reiser, I
is that
think.
Reisler? I'm not sure. Anyway,
It
so-
means it's German for traveler, actually.
Oh, really? But as I mentioned, I like this. So I was watching this and I was thinking, oh, is this a remake of the same one? And it isn't. And but it might be like a generation later or whatever, or some, I don't know, because Helen Hunter wasn't mentioned in this. Not, well, her character, I don't know, I didn't see anything like that. So, and she, as an actress, she wasn't in this, so I don't really know how the whole Dorothy thing related, but it was there, and there were the big drums of reader, I don't know, sensor things, whatever. And then there were some other drums full of something else to absorb moisture or something. I don't know. So, but yeah, there are people chasing around tornadoes and whatever. There was a lot of woohoo kind of people. And honestly, I don't know if tornado chasers are woohoo kind of people.
I've seen a few of those things on the internet, and they also.
They're all
We
woohoo
did
people?
see people like
We
that.
did
remember?
see Twisted Sisters.
Twisted Sisters. I think they were saying they're going out of business.
We
You know,
didn't see
like
them
retired.
woohooing.
No, we
No.
didn't hear them, but they picked a really good storm. I'm telling you, because
Yeah, it was a good one.
we were in grasslands.
Yeah, that
National
year,
Park.
everywhere we were going, it looked like there was going to be a tornado every time. It was incredible, you know, like big hailstorms.
Initially, it
low-
didn't look that bad. We set up from Moose Jaw,
Yeah.
so grasslands.
Oh
in
yeah, it was
southwest
always
of
as we were
Saskatchewan.
leaving.
And
You know, so we'd have a nice day, and then boom, we'd be
yeah.
hit with this.
Well,
weird-
you know, it didn't really look bad. We kept on going in the. It clouded over and stuff like that. We got into grasslands. We were. We just stopped. We'd done a lot of walking with the dogs and stuff like that. It had clouded over. I looked up, and there was a break in the clouds, and it felt like I imagined like a little kid with a friendly giant. I just kept looking up and up. You'd see the end of the cumulus clouds. I didn't realize they were cumulus, because when they were driving underneath them, we were just driving under a kind of thin haze of kind of leading cloud, a bank of cloud. When I say bank, it really wasn't that thick. It seemed like a haze, and it must have thickened up and thickened up. Anyway, we started going north. We wanted to go to Swift Current, because the highway number 4 there, going down past Val Marie, was stunningly bad, pothole filled. While we were driving along, I looked up to the left, way off in the distance. There was a little pop-up cloud that was a little bit dark underneath. There was a little bit of rain coming down from it, and the rain went like this, looking from your point of view, like it was coming down
Yeah,
straight,
yeah.
and then it was
then-
like this, and I said, wow, I've never seen rain bent like that. I am not kidding you, it was bent. So they say that, I'm forgetting what it's called, but it's that sort of thing that where you don't want to be taking off in a plane when something like that's coming down, because you know there'd be huge kind of like, well, I think they call it wind shear, right? And I've heard that that's can cause real trouble with planes. But I said, man, there's something really. There's a lot of energy up there. They figure it's wind shear. It's really what it is electrical charges, right? Causing different electrical charges in a thunderstorm, a thunderhead, and all that sort of stuff. So we kept on going, and man, we ran across. That was the worst hail / thunderstorm we've ever been in. It went on.
Well,
and
that
on
one was the
and-
last one in the season. I think it wanted to really go out with a bang because we had so many that season. It was incredible.
But just before I think it was just after actually we saw this wind shear effect on this little mist of rain coming down. We saw a bunch of people parked on the west side of the highway, and we were going, what are they? They were all out on the hoods of their cars and stuff like that. It was like they were having a tailgate thing in a parking lot waiting for a Bruce Springsteen concert or something like that. Then we saw one vehicle that had Twisted Sisters on it. I'm going, they must be looking for, it must be tornado chasers or something like that. And then I'd remembered, I'd seen a long-term prediction on the Weather Channel, and it was a weird sort of thing. You usually don't see this. They were showing this patch of rain. It just ran from north to south. It was in Alberta at that point in time. When I watched the weather report, it was just like that. It was like a vertical line, and that's what we ran into. And the big trouble is, when we were going north to Swift Current via Val Marie from grasslands, we were going right up the length of it. That's why it lasted so long.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, we got the band kind of went over slowly, and we managed to gas up in Swift Current. But we ran into more thunderstorm activity, what am I saying? When we headed west out of Swift Current,
Yeah.
it was pretty dramatic, I gotta say.
Well, there's a lot of great special effects in this, so it looks believable. Only I don't believe the truck augers that hold them into the ground. I don't believe they'd work. I think it'd be gone. But who knows? So entertaining. The Courier. This one, it's really, if you like watching a woman get beat up, but persevere and keep fighting and beating her attacker.
Do
her
the
attack.
John Wick type of thing.
Yeah. Then you'll like watching this. So it's kind of, I don't know.
Or the
Actually,
Bruce Willis type
I like
of thing.
that sort
or
of thing,
Liam,
and I feel
Liam Neeson.
kind of embarrassed to say it, right? Because there's something very, there's something sexual about it with the fighting. I think with fighting in general, honestly. But anyway, I like the fact that the guy that she was protecting, he was very well cast.
Is that the guy off to the left there?
No, he's not shown on here, but I don't know what his name is. But he has kind of big ears, and maybe he's
Looks a bit like a kid.
kind of British, East Indian. I don't know. I'm not sure, but he is awesome. I love seeing him. Whenever I see him in a show, I'm like, oh, he's wonderful. He seems like the most.
It isn't the guy that was in Kumar, was it? And whatever.
No,
That
but I
guy's
like
funny.
him too.
Yeah.
But no, this guy isn't funny. This guy's, well, I mean, sort of a little bit, in a cute way, right? Like he seems really innocent and nice, and he's just absolutely wonderful. And so the fact that, and weak, right? He seems really wimpy. So the fact that she's protecting him is awesome, because you want him to be protected, and it's believable that he could be protected by a woman, and she's an awesome fighter and everything. So anyway, but, and another thing about this movie, they must have timed it out, because I looked down when they said, oh, we have 58 minutes to catch him. And I looked down at the time and I'm like, oh, I bet you they have 58 minutes to wrap this up, kind of thing.
And you figured they did?
So I think so. I think they timed it out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because usually movie time.
It doesn't.
Very different from
exactly.
real time.
But I think they did. I think they worked with that. But I don't know. Anyway, I enjoyed this, and just not nearly as much as this, because there were a lot of things in this that, frankly, they weren't believable. It was a little over the top. It was really, if you like watching a lot of fighting, well, this is for you. If you like watching, like, it's kind of gruesome fighting, because there's weapons involved and stuff like that, right? So it gets pretty bloody and people die and whatever. But I mean,
She kind of
she's
looks
having to
the
fight
part,
for her
I guess.
life. Yeah, she
It
looks
always
pretty
tends to be women that look like Joan Jett or Ann Wilson or
Yeah, she looks
dark
pretty
hair
tough.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I wonder if they'd ever come up with a blonde femme fatale who'd go around killing people, who were threatening her,
I'm not sure.
near and dear ones. I wonder if people would buy it.
Well, anyway, you have 5 minutes to talk about rock and roll, and it looks like you didn't like your pasta that much.
No, I just I was eating this.
Oh yeah, you wanted to use that up first.
Yeah. So this was a full plate, about 11 o'clock or something like that. I don't know what time it is now. I'd finished up most of it before Pauline started setting this lunch up. She just didn't know about that. I wanted to finish the dessert before I got full, and I'll be eating that. Sorry for interrupting my talking. I was thirsty. Okay, rock and roll. So the other day I was pointing out, not really complaining, but I didn't pay much money for this. It would have been, is it from the library? I don't know where I got it. It's all beaten up, so I would have gotten it very much used. It could have been like $1.50 or whatever. But there'd be students that have to be paying for this sort of stuff. So here's some folks that aren't in here. I've got, yikes, no Van Morrison. Okay, I'm looking at the index.
Yeah, you already said that. No Van Morrison, no Tom Petty.
Yeah, but there's other ones in here. They actually have Victoria Beckham mentioned. Okay,
I don't know who that is.
one of the Spice. She's posh.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, they've got it misspelled in the index. Okay, when you're redoing this edition, it's not Beckman. That's what they put in the index. It's Beckham. Okay. They don't have Black Oak, Arkansas. That's okay by me. They don't have Hoyt Axton. I think they've got Estelle Axton. Is she the one that, although they don't mention that she's the one, that's Hoyt Axton's mom. He's the one who did Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog, Joy to the World, is what it's called. He wrote that.
Oh.
He didn't do the hit, that was Three Dog Night. But his mom apparently wrote, or at least co-wrote, Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh, really?
Isn't that weird? Two generations of it. His mom was wrote better rockier songs than he did. No Bryan Adams.
Well,
Okay,
good.
this is 2006. It doesn't matter, you know. Like Bryan Adams was, it got Victoria Beckham mentioned in here.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And you know that she'd be part of the Spice Girls, right?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with rock and roll? What's Spice got to do with it? Yeah, the Spice Girls have, my gosh, it's like 4 pages of mentions. Okay, so yeah, like Bryan Adams, I don't particularly care for him. You know, he's a Canadian, fellow Canadian, and stuff like that. But they do mention the band. No mention of Long John Baldry. I'm okay with that. No mention of Sebastian Bach. I think he's a Canadian, but he's kind of a racist. Can't remember the name of his group. He's the one who did
Skid Row?
18 and Life. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't think Skid Row's in here, right? Skid Row, come on. Thanks for mentioning that. You know, like, yeah, he seems to be a bit of a racist and all that sort of stuff, but that's a good song. 18 and Life. That's a really good rock song, I gotta say. No mention of Bachman Turner Overdrive. Okay? Canadian group. And they were big in the 70s, okay? They were big in the 70s. You guys put this together, okay? No mention of the Guess Who. Now, Canadian group, but you know,
Was he
they
racist,
were-
Sebastian Bach? I didn't
oh,
know
he
that.
said some amazing things, okay?
Like, I know-
homophobic, I think.
I thought Axl Rose did, but I
Yeah,
didn't know.
Axl Rose did. I think Sebastian Bach.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, you know, like, now some of the stuff, sometimes when they're looking for so-called racists, the witch hunters out there in the left wing, and it just seems to come with the territory with so many people in the left wing. You know, it's not just Joseph Stalin and stuff like that. But they're looking for straw men. So I don't know. Some of the stuff might be taken out of context.
Well,
But
I
some
just
of the
thought
stuff
that
I was hearing about what he was saying
Axl
about
Rose.
homosexuals or
Well-
gay people or whatever, unacceptable. Yeah.
Well, I just remember something that Axl Rose said, but I just found it funny